Wally the water drop. Learn about the water cycle. Wally was a water drop who lived in a nice big pond. You see, Wally loved exploring. He would never stay still. One day, his parents entered his room. Wally's mom said, "We're going on a trip through the water cycle." "The water cycle?" Wally asked. Wally's dad responded, "Yes, the water cycle is the way that water circulates throughout the earth. It's a trip that we take many times in our water drop life. So, are you ready?" "Yeah, let's go!" exclaimed Wally. Together, the water drop family got a warm hug from the sun and started to evaporate. The heat causes the water droplets to turn into water vapor. Wally and his parents floated up to the sky. This part is called evaporation. High above the skyscrapers, Wally started to get cold. Another tiny drop bounced over to Wally and said, "Hi, I'm Drip. Some water drops and I am feeling super chilly over by that cloud." Wally responded, "Oh wow, that means you might be going through condensation." Drip shivered but smiled. "Really? That's a part of the water cycle, right?" "Yep," said Wally. "Being cold helps us gather together, and before you know it, you'll be floating in the sky as a cloud." Drip giggled. "I hope it's a fluffy cloud." Wally waved goodbye. "Safe travels, Drip. I'll see you again." Drip waved back as she turned into a fluffy cloud. As Wally went through condensation with his family, he started to feel the cloud get heavier. This is because the water vapor from evaporation is turning back into water droplets. Suddenly, the cloud rumbled gently. Wally's dad smiled. "Looks like it's time for precipitation." "What's that?" Wally asked. "It means we're going to fall back to Earth," said Dad. "And when the cloud gets too heavy with water droplets, we fall back onto the Earth as rain." With a swoosh, Wally and his family started to fall. Down, 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 through the air. "Whee!" shouted Wally, tumbling through the sky. Wally splashed down into a quiet forest stream. Trees swayed above him, and water sparkled in the sunlight. "Now we're in the collection part," said Mom. "This is when water gathers in rivers and oceans and lakes." Dad nodded. "And someday the sun will warm us again and we'll evaporate back into the sky." Wally asked, "So the water cycle just keeps going and going?" "Of course," said Drip, who had just plopped nearby. And so, Wally, his family, and new friends rested in the stream, waiting for their next adventure through the water cycle. Here's some vocabulary to review the water cycle. Evaporation is when the sun warms up water and turns it into water vapor that rises into the sky. Water vapor is an invisible gas made from water during evaporation. Condensation is when the water vapor cools down and turns back into tiny droplets that form clouds. Precipitation is when clouds get too heavy to let the water to hold the water and let the water fall as rain, snow, hail, or sleet. Collection is when the water gathers in places like rivers, lakes, and oceans. A cycle is a repeating process, like the water cycle that keeps going round and round over and over. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope that you learned about the water